NewsBiscuit. Real fake news.
Welcome to NewsBiscuit, the UK's original fake news. NewsBiscuit, now with 25% less salt. I'm your host, Wrenfoe, and joining me at my covert COVID Christmas party are Mrs. Wrenfoe.
Hello.
O'Shaughnessy.
Hello.
Hello. There was a question mark at the end of it. Hello. Like you just answered the phone. I'm a nuisance caller. Hello. Right, thank you for that. Paul L.
Hello.
And Flash Arry.
Hello.
This month in sport, Australia's batsmen report that Omicron is 100% more effective than England's bowlers. While back home, the government denied having secret parties as they were too busy dancing on everyone's grave. So that brings us to our first round, News in Brief, where our panelists select their favourite headlines. Flash Arry, we'll start with you. What have you got for us?
Right, number one, UK spirit animal is dead badger. Which I can relate to.
Is it to imply that once upon a time we were a happy live badger frolicking away with tuberculosis?
They are the most sinister of all spirit animals, though, aren't they? Dead badgers. I think that. I mean, to be honest, even a live badger is pretty damn sinister. They're fucking huge, aren't they? Oh, sorry, is this podcast I'm not supposed to swear on? I do this every time. They're very huge. Very huge. Can you have something that's very huge? They are large. Yes. Badgers are large. There we go.
Is this a warning that you're sending out to the public at large? Badgers are large. Be warned.
Information films have gone downhill.
Yeah. And not to be mistaken for smaller black and white. What is Skunks, isn't it? The black and white. What was the cartoon?
Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, Pepe Le Pew, where he always used to kind of a cat, basically.
A painted cat, yes.
Yes, that's got more rapey actually over time. That cartoon seemed quite innocuous, but it's now very non-consensual in the TV. Yes. It would just involve him like dressing her up and then drugging her. Wasn't that the gist at the end of every
Yeah,
episode?
I think so. I have vague memory. Something like that.
God, my childhood is dark.
Yeah, I didn't have any of this in my childhood. Andy Pandy and Bill and Ben, we didn't have this sort of stuff.
Then we're totally touching one another. Under the cover of those flower pots, you have no idea what was going on underneath the compost.
What's going on beneath the compost? That sounds like some sort of great novel, Beneath the Compost.
Letting wine breathe is bollocks, confirms experts.
When you become an adult, there are certain foods where it's seen as a good idea to just leave it lying around for long periods of time, and it's better because of it.
Well, it's like eating cheese with mold on. I mean, obviously, I'm not a fan of cheese anyway, but WTF? Like, literally, who was the first person who went, this looks delicious. It's green and it's furry and it smells really bad. I mean, kudos to the first person who ate Stilton, because I mean, probably not all there, were they? I don't understand how that happens.
There must be the dare, yeah. Well, it's like the first person who used whale vomit for perfume. I mean, that must have been
behind your ears.
That must have been just some guy who'd run out of ideas for presents, and it was Christmas Eve, and he was panicking. What shall I get my wife? Shit, I've got nothing. Oh, here's some whale vomit. I'll pretend. I'll pretend it's perfume.
I'm sure Lynx have got one, haven't they? Wild whale.
Whale vomit probably smells better than Lynx, based on my experience during my teenage years. Sorry, teenage boys ever.
Yes.
Wife caught man having affair using ship-to-ship oldest lamp.
That's reminiscent of the Monty Python, where they did the semaphore version of Wuthering Height.
Yes.
I mean, it's just a great image, isn't it? This idea of unrequited love over a distance.
But still managing to light up the bedroom every... Subbuteo Table Soccer's latest edition to feature drunken England fans.
And the thing I hate most about the England fans is, and Mrs. Wrenfoe will attest to my hate, is the England band.
No, I love the England band. I genuinely think the England band went in for Eurovision. I think we would get more than nil point. I love the England band. It's like, you know, that's
my God.
Worth it, you know, when you just classics.
Their atonal version of The Great Escape played on a loop for 90 minutes is unbearable.
It's superb.
Half a semitone flat is beautiful thing. It's the true meaning of football.
This is what Lewis Hamilton needs.
Yes, he does. He would have won.
He'd have thrashed Verstappen with the Barmy Army behind him, wouldn't he?
What, just trying to drive fast enough to get away from the sound of the band?
Yeah, he'd have slaughtered him.
I'm fairly sure they're the cause of most football violence. I would be driven to kind of murderous rage by just having to listen to that.
Tory Christmas party was unacceptable, says minister who wasn't invited. I completely get the great British public's outrage about, parties going on when we were all meant to be at home. I completely get it and I empathise with it. But I do feel people have lost sight of just how shit office parties actually are. I mean, party is a little bit of a, kind of a misnomer, really, isn't it? And a Tory party.
You feel they suffered enough already, these poor people who attended the party?
Yes, something like that.
And when you talk about outrage, what was interesting, there were two waves of outrage I noticed on Twitter. There was the initial wave of outrage. Everyone was like, this is outrageous, these parties happen. Boris has been at these parties. We're so angry. And then, of course, as the news kind of unfurled and we discovered that Boris really wasn't there at the parties, that it was mainly journalists and civil servants and backroom people, then people got even more outraged because deep down they just wanted Boris to be there. So they get really angry with Boris. And it's like he stole their thunder by not being the most reprehensible person at these parties. There were people far worse.
It's very difficult to get angry at Joe from accounts, who's at the back of the photo.
Yeah, who's worked really hard all year round, and to be fair, was just looking forward to a little pub quiz. Yeah, because that's it, isn't it? We've got this is out, and what's great about that is again on Twitter. Twitter's hilarious. People are like, oh no, this is terrible because it doesn't involve Boris directly. We're never going to catch him on corruption. And I'm thinking, what? Have you paid no attention to the last 2 years? Corruption.
He's allowed one scandal off.
It's all down to the Christmas party.
How to tell if dozens of people are having a party in your house? Do you bump into strangers on the stairs who insist on telling you, I bloody love you? Or the telltale one, which is, are you at a party right now?
You know how you can tell a Tory Christmas party?
No.
It's the massive queue around the photocopier.
Very hand clap there. Very good. Very good. Boris Johnson flouts Commons baby ban by attending PM's questions.
He's a bit uncomfortable about people bringing babies into the House of Commons. Is the fear that they are his babies, that it's going to be like just a kind of a sting operation by the Child Support Agency.
Carrie welcomes baby number 3 to number 10.
He still does very much soil himself in public. That is his vibe. And you get the impression he breastfeeds, but he's not too choosy about which breast. He just works his way through the nation.
COVID experts concerned Pi variant will go on forever. As a math geek, I love that. You wrote that. Bravo. That's my favourite.
We get a lot of maths puns on NewsBiscuit. Yeah. I think, I mean, even some of our writers are cleverer than they let on.
Musical about outdoor wife swapping to be called Swinging in the Rain. I would watch that show. Hell, I'd star in that show. Bravo.
What are you saying, Mrs. Wrenfoe? We don't need to spice up. We don't need to spice up our marriage quite that far. Yeah, musicals that involve pun. That's always good. I mean, you could do a musical about chickens, the Bantam of the Opera.
Oh God, that's worse than the one on my list I didn't even read out. I mean, that's painful.
Well, just the idea of this huge chicken that sort of haunts a cathedral and sings and clucks. No, is that not? We're not interested in this.
I think you headed on to dodgy ground there.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Wrenfoe, for those. Okay, Oshaughnessy.
Thatcher U-turning in her grave.
Now, you're assuming she's in a grave. I assume she was somewhere much hotter.
This was on the back of the national insurance U-turns, foreign aid U-turns, making the BBC broadcast in black and white U-turn. The Owen Paterson debacle, and then the government overruled the Parliamentary Standards Committee, then it abolished the Standards Committee, then it abolished itself.
Well, that was a busy week, wasn't it? You got to admit.
Absolutely corking week.
So it's a by-election in which the Tories and Labour Party both managed to get historically low numbers. I don't know how the two leading parties managed to do that, but I thought it was really interesting of the Labour Party to take it, because there's an opportunity. Owen Paterson has resigned in disgrace.
Yeah.
Oh, great. You're going to put someone in to run against him. They'll be good. and they put someone in who was once Owen Pattinson's aide. So you're going, why are you doing that? Your one opportunity to distance yourself from Owen Pattinson, and you're running his aide in his seat. This is not going to go well. Anyway,
Flat cap on care costs for those in the north.
nice. We'll take again. We do jokes about maths, and we do jokes at the expense of our northern.
We
brethren.
do.
I should point out a lot of the NewsBiscuit writers are from the north, but they are simple folk and don't often get the references. Look at all the three southerners all just laughing their asses off.
Dominic Raab now knows the countries of the world in alphabetical order, all the way down to Albania. We've got the Queen forgets to turn up for Remembrance Day.
I can't remember who said it. I mean, it might be NewsBiscuit, it might be someone else. Someone was saying, well, the reason she didn't want to celebrate Remembrance is because of Prince Andrew didn't want to be remembering anything right now. The party line with the royals is we remember nothing.
Don't diss the Queen. I love the Queen. I love the Queen so much. Don't diss the Queen. I love the Queen, like genuinely. I feel like she's my nana. I think lots of people do. I'm going to be devastated when she dies, which obviously will never happen. And
well,
thanks
to Prince Andrew. There's a good chance that she might be your nana.
Rolls-Royce mini nuclear reactor comes with luxury picnic camper and does 5 miles a gallon.
Mini nuclear reactors.
I want to know how big they are.
They're mini.
I mean, is it something that can go in your briefcase? Where would you put your sandwiches? Would they go in the briefcase?
That would make business meetings a bit scary, where everyone's got a briefcase by their chair. One of them starts buzzing or something. Everyone's like backing away.
Yeah. Well, as long as your sandwiches are in tin foil, you'd be all right, wouldn't you?
They'd be the only thing all right for about a 5-mile radius.
So I went out on a scientific tour. No, I didn't. I just went out tonight and went to look around our local housing estate at the Christmas lights, which has become a fun family tradition for the children. And I reckon 60% of all Christmas lights have gone.
When Mrs. Wrenfoe said she was going around looking at Christmas lights, really what she was doing was casing the joint. She was seeing who was away for the Christmas period, and we're going to break into their house. It's a little tradition our family have. That's how we get Christmas presents.
There'll be a small child just waiting to take out my gold tooth if I try that tactic. I've watched enough Christmas movies to know you don't break into houses at Christmas time, not if you want to keep your gold tooth.
That's a Home Alone reference, isn't it? The movie I've never watched.
Something wrong
How
with
have you
you.
managed to get away with that?
I don't like Macaulay Culkin, and mind you, he doesn't like me. So I mean, it's mutual.
He's very vocal about it as well, isn't he?
He has. He never shuts up about it. That and Michael Jackson. Paul, what have we got?
Winter storms blown out of proportion. Little Mix gives fans a break after 10 years.
Oh, sorry. Have Little Mix split?
Look at me and Flash Arry trying to explain about Little Mix, like getting in there.
like we're relevant.
Our favourite band appears. No, they take a hiatus while they've going on to explore solo projects.
Pick a mix.
That could be one of their first albums. Greatest hits. That's got to be, hasn't it? Pick a mix.
Pick a mix. Oh, and as we said it first, can we then sue them in? I noticed this week Eric Clapton sued a woman for selling an album of his for £11 on eBay.
Yeah.
What a colossal dick. I'm just saying. I mean, Eric, if you're listening, what an arsehole.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be celebrating £11 for an Eric Clapton album. I mean, is that not a record or something? I mean, that feels like the kind of thing that Christie's would be interested in. I mean, that's,
Yeah, I mean, he should be asking her about her business model, how she managed to get 11 quid for one of his albums.
A CD too. It's not a vinyl, a CD.
A CD. How petty is he that he's trawling eBay? And it wasn't just like bog standard British eBay. It was German eBay as well. He's on every eBay site around the world, looking out for bootleg copies of his albums.
It is like one of the reasons not to get sober if that's what you do.
Definitely the rock and roll dream there.
Yeah, more people injured by walking into anti-terror bollards than in any terrorist attack.
Well, it's that classic thing of the fear of a thing being worse sometimes than the fear itself, which is how I feel about Mrs. Brown's Boys.
That's a slippery slope.
It is. You soon become a fundamentalist after the second or third season of Mrs. Brown's Boys. The desire to strap Semtex to yourself and just run into a building. and press the button is
Just
quite high.
end it all.
And the fact you just described Mrs. Brown's boys as harmless has left me questioning everything I thought I knew about our marriage. I mean, I'm just going to put that out there. I kind of, yeah, it's an abomination. I can't. You described it as
The
harmless.
marriage.
You might think it's harmless until Priti Patel strips you of your citizenship for watching it.
The marriage.
No, I was thinking of Mrs. Brown's boys.
It works both ways.
Yes, I can imagine Mrs. Priti Patel stripping me might be the end of my marriage. It's a tough one to explain to Mrs. Wrenfoe. She was looking for my border pass. You don't normally keep your border pass there.
Basically, what keeps the marriage fresh, to be honest, is
This month, Oshaughnessy is going to be sharing one of his favourite stories from the NewsBiscuit archive. Oshaughnessy is one of our editors. So a quick question to Oshaughnessy. Is satire now easier or harder without Trump and Brexit? More to the point, do we need disasters to be funny?
Yes. I'd like to sort of elaborate on that, but I just can't.
I like your answer, though, about kind of, yes, and I'm not going to elaborate. You realise that kills dead any podcast that we might have if all we're going to have is monosyllabic answers. I could elaborate, but I'm not going to. I could say something funny, but I'd be spoiling you. NewsBiscuit, brevity above all else.
Brevity. But I mean, Trump, do we miss Trump? Can we bring him back?
He hasn't gone, though. I thought he'd go. I thought
He's actually, what we don't realise is that he's still living in the White House.
Well, Joe Biden wouldn't notice because Joe's away with the fairies.
Well, I mean, Joe Biden would fall asleep at a woke meeting, wouldn't he?
I'm scared that I'm going to have a wee tonight and like Trump's going to be behind my cistern because the way you've described that, he's like, oh, you get parents doing that, like kind of the Christmas elf, the elf on the shelf thing in someone's house.
The Trump in the dump.
He'd be the sort of ghost of Christmas bollocks.
Christmas bollocks. You see, I've now got this vision in my mind of two pendulous Christmas balls just sort of swaying.
Family Christmas lights crash the national grid. This includes an illuminated tableau featuring well-known seasonal figures such as Homer Simpson, a Wookiee, John Wayne, several Lord of the Rings characters, a pink Cadillac, and a 10-foot Elvis dressed as Santa. They told us that whenever our lights went on, Slough was being plunged into total darkness.
I kind of imagine that's what the Brexit festival would have looked like.
What, several Lord of the Rings characters?
Yeah, cheap illuminated kind of lighting just outside someone's house. Although, according to Mrs. Wrenfoe, the lights aren't on at the moment.
No, it's all lies. Are you telling me that NewsBiscuit isn't all true? Gosh, this has shattered my little festive understanding of the world.
My mum's neighbour has a 4-foot-high purple illuminated penguin.
I'm really glad you came out with the
Yes.
penguin. I was really wondering where that was going.
Slight pause there.
I think I emphasised penguin quite professionally, actually.
We used to do a thing, though. I mean, me and Mrs. Wrenfoe, we're not going to put this in the episode, but I'm just saying because it's just interesting. We do a thing where we would drive around, wouldn't we? The area, look at people's decorations.
I mean, I told that story earlier, but it's really good to hear that you are so...
No, you walked out by yourself. I'm saying we used to go as a family.
And that was the story I told, but good, excellent.
All right, okay. Well, I'm not listening. So, sharp. This marriage is a sham, all right? You're not even Mrs. Wrenfoe. You're just some woman that I found on the internet to come on this podcast. Don't even, what? Like, you don't know me. You don't know me at all. Merry Christmas to our viewers. Right. Okay. And after that little kind of moment of marital bliss, our next round, though, is True Biscuit, where our panel has to guess which is the real headline and which is the fake one.
Camels banned from Saudi Arabia beauty contest after being found to have had facelifts and Botox.
Okay. Okay. So there's a beauty contest. Now, is this a beauty contest for people, and a camel got themselves smuggled in under the pretext of having had surgery that they look like a person, or is it a beauty contest just for camels?
Only for camels. More than 40 entries have been disqualified. They received Botox injections, apparently, these camels.
Because, I mean, that raises the question, doesn't it, of what we find attractive, sexually attractive in a camel. Oh, you just found camels just full stop attractive, Paul. You're not even discerning. You just like any camel will do. When you're in the desert, you're lonely. You're thirsty. You can ask for water, but I'd rather ask for a camel.
There's different types of thirst, isn't there, really?
And so when you've got a sexual thirst in the desert, you get a mirage of horny camels. Is that what you get?
I feel like we're getting away from the story here. And
No, but I think we're getting closer to your inappropriate.
No, just get back to the story, please.
No, hold on. I want to let's clear this up. So what are the attractive qualities we want in a camel?
The winner is based on the shape of the camel's head, hump, dress, and posture.
Are we implying the camels
Posture.
are responsible for dressing themselves? Because I want to see that round.
Yes, do they ask the camels questions?
Yes.
What's your ambition?
Yes,
And
Phil.
I just want peace in the world.
What's the reward for winning something like this?
It's a 50 million prize. So,
50 million pounds.
50 million.
yes.
I would dress up as a camel and
Would you? Oh,
would anyone
that's good
join
to
me
know,
in this venture? Because I'm gonna need two people. We can't just one of us. I need a back end. We've gone quiet now. 50 million pounds. Come on, think about it,
I've
guys.
left the room.
What, to get the camel suit? Good lad.
Yeah.
50 million pounds. Oh, that is a lot of motive right there. Actually, hold on. What's the prize for the actual Miss World competition? That still runs, isn't it? That's the thing, Miss World.
Yeah, she wins a camel.
She was a camel. Yeah, it was a night with the camel. No, but I mean, it's less than 50 million, isn't it? It's not even close to that. So a good-looking camel will earn more.
And that's the patriarchy right there.
Yeah.
Well, is it though? Because one assume I see here. This is patriarchy. I'd assume they were all female camels competing, but there's no indication of that so far. Were they female?
No, women and men. Are camels men and women are camels? Yeah, I have no idea. I just find them attractive. I don't discriminate.
Yeah, I mean, once you're having sex with a camel, it probably doesn't matter which gender you're.
The next David Attenborough, right here, we found him.
Yeah, camels. Can they be boys or girls? Do they exist on land? Are they flightless? So we're assuming this is a gender neutral thing. So the Grammys have just gone gender neutral.
Yep.
Okay, so any camel can compete against Adele.
I think it's true because you can get very lonely in the desert.
I'll go true. I mean, Paul seems very informed on all this.
You say informed, I say aroused.
One follows the other.
Whatever it is, it's to a worrying level, isn't it?
It's false. It's preposterous, and you're all absolutely barking mad. No, it's nonsense.
Paul, is this your ultimate fantasy come real, or is this a pack of lies?
This is true.
Zoom can't pick up on the little glint in Paul's eye the moment he said this was true. He's smiling. He's all happy.
When I can get my next ticket to Saudi Arabia, I'll.
So you think Saudi Arabia's got a bad record on human rights abuses? Wait to see Paul and his camel abuses that follow.
Oh. Jesus.
Amnesty International will have to create a whole new page for what he's going to do.
On that bombshell.
This is our Christmassy show.
Yes.
And it's nice.
I mean,
Nice that we had a bit with camels in it. And
Well,
I think
you know,
kids are going to like that. Yeah, those three wise men were pretty wise. You know what I'm saying? They knew what to travel on.
Yeah.
Those long nights. Okay.
Naked wannabe Santa rescued after he gets stuck up a chimney.
Everything there that we want in a news story. We've got Christmas and we've got a little bit of nudity.
What part of the Christmas magic he interpreted as I should get naked before I go down the chimney?
Well, Mrs. Wrenfoe, you may not be aware of this. There's back in the sort of 1940s, 1950s, the Coca-Cola company took over the image of Santa and started portraying him as this jolly guy in a red suit. Prior to that, he was just naked.
In just his birthday suit, basically, and so that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, then
The song "The Holidays Are Coming" is a lot more sinister when it's just a naked man running down the street with a can of Coke. There are two reasons for the potential nudity going up. Well, it's a very tight space you're going to squeeze through, so you probably want to take off as much clothing as you can and just lube yourself up and then zoom down that way.
Getting back to camels.
And go back to camels again. Or the other thing that occurred to me is maybe he was fully clothed and maybe the fire burnt the clothes off him. At least that's what I tell the police when they turned up.
yeah. I mean, it took 30 fire officers and 10 police to get to get
take
him
the
out.
photographs. To take photographs. They didn't need that many to take him out.
Yeah. But
It just sounds like a deleted scene from Mary Poppins.
Say he was naked wannabe Santa. Where does the wannabe Santa come from? Apart from that, we've got the chimney, but it could just be naked bloke falls down chimney.
Shaughnessy's right. Actually, the headline is Naked Man uses as excuse Santa, not
Naked man defies gravity by falling up chimney.
scientific experiment. I mean, yeah, Professor Brian Cox could maybe be, kind of, involved.
Oh, not
involved
Brian
in it.
Cox, please. Oh, no, not Brian. Oh.
I mean, to be clear, he was not
Did
there.
you have a bad breakup of Shaughnessy? Is that what it is?
With Brian. No, I just fall asleep. Within about 10 minutes of him talking, I'm just asleep.
And that's when he takes advantage of me, says O'Shaughnessy.
He just says, in the universe, big. And I've gone. I've totally gone. So I don't know how big the universe is.
It's big. I hear it's big.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
What we say, we're saying naked men are plausible, chimneys are real, but we're not necessarily convinced that fake Santas are real, or that...
Completely and utterly false.
Because you don't believe in naked men.
I don't believe, no.
Good for you.
I'm going to go false for the same reasons.
Because you don't believe in naked men. What?
Exactly.
Flash Arry, surely you believe in naked men.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say true. And you only need to do it once for that sort of label to stick.
Excellent.
This is a true story. German firefighters had to rescue a naked man who managed to get himself stuck in a chimney. Very serious. They had to make a hole in the second floor of the building.
They got to him through the second floor of the house, so they just sort of knocked a hole, and just exposing his genitals to the crying children in the bedroom. Who at this point are so deeply traumatized by the concept of one, Santa being stuck in the chimney, and two, this is what you see, kids.
Well, at least they could say to the kids, look, kids, Santa exists.
He does. And he's fully engorged.
And you're definitely on the naughty list.
Yeah, oh my God. We can't put any of this in the podcast, can we? We can't put any of this.
That's
This
20
is-
minutes.
Point of the podcast, dear boy.
Oh, this is so wrong. And Flash Arry.
Fox tossing.
Fox tossing.
Fox
Now-
tossing, 17th and 18th century Germany, played in a walled courtyard where couples stand about 20-25 feet apart with a fabric net or swatch between them, and then assorted woodland folk bounce them up as high as possible.
And they're on a big sheet, and you just yank them up and down, and they fly. And does this shit, what, I mean, is there... What's the I was going to say, what's the purpose of this? But obviously the sheer joy is seeing the look on their startled, furry faces. And they're like,
Exactly.
am I a bird? I didn't think I was. I don't know. Where does this end, though? I mean, after the initial kind of, oh, look, we're tossing a fox up in the air. I mean, do you just keep doing it, forever, until the fox learns to fly?
No, essentially it's just a joyful slaughtering of small furry animals.
Oh, do you keep doing it till they die?
Oh, God.
Oh, well, if they don't kill them all by making them, by scaring them to death, by bouncing them up and down in the fabric, they then club the wounded.
Wow.
That's how all sports should end.
And
You just
to make
come
it
on
more
and club anyone who's looking a bit tired. I'm glad you picked such a Christmassy story. It's all the best Christmas stories have the bludgeoning to death of small furry animals and its heart. So the aim of the game, and are we calling this a game, or are we just calling this an act of
slaughter.
Squid Game. I'm not sure this is comedy gold. I think this is just appalling. What the fuck?
I can't help seeing it as quite Christmassy though. For some reason, it feels.
Well, they would do a Christmas edition where they would.
House. I mean, Jesus, what happens in your house at Christmas?
The cat was very surprised.
But no, I kind of agree with Paul. It's a horrible visual I've got in my mind, but it is happening in a Bavarian forest, and it's got snow on the floor. And the people are laughing and they're drinking mulled wine. I have got that in my head.
Yes, you finish the fox tossing, then go off to the banquet.
And so the choice is either someone at NewsBiscuit wrote this fucked up story, or we're saying this is true. What the hell? What is wrong with human beings? This is what the? Oh no!
I'm going to go true.
I'm going to hope it's false, so I'm going to say false in the hope that it was false.
You've done a bad thing, Flash Harry. Hope you're ashamed of yourself.
2 or 3 times a day.
This is Wrenfoe.
I think it's true. I feel like that was probably on TV in the 80s. I reckon that's true.
This is a knockout.
It is true. They did have a festive edition where they would dress up the animal.
As what? As birds?
Hobgoblins, mythical beasts, caricatures of people they didn't like.
Oh, that makes it all right then, doesn't it?
It's like a BBC Christmas special. That was their version.
Pretty much.
Quite beautiful when you think about it.
Oh, God, you know what? I feel vaguely ill after that.
That's the tagline for all our podcasts.
Oh. British man changes name to Celine Dion after getting drunk in lockdown.
So up until he'd been perfectly sober up until that point and had been mulling over the idea. And then when lockdown kicked in,
he was perfectly sober up until the point he drank a bottle of champagne.
Well, champagne, I imagine, is the gateway drink to calling yourself Celine Dion. You know, if it'd just been pints, he'd have named himself after Willard out of EastEnders or something. But
he had been watching a Celine Dion concert while he was consuming this champagne.
And rather than be inspired by her music and things, all he took from the concert was nice name. Wish I had that name. I like the idea that emboldened, having called himself Celine Dion, he decided to tour under her name. And it's only through an injunction that he ended up stopping.
As far as I know, he's remained Celine. He spent 89 quid to share the name of the Canadian singer, and he got 10 certificates to send to friends and family.
It was surely cheaper to send her CDs and just sign them off from Dave.
I'm going to go false.
I'm going to go true.
Categorically true, and I think I know the man who did it.
What, personally?
It wouldn't surprise me.
It's true. I'd like to say I've researched it a bit more, but at this point I've sort of completely lost interest, so I didn't.
Well, God damn it. On NewsBiscuit, I expect my journalists to research their stories. You can't just swan on with just a whole load of spurious nonsense. Listening tonight, Celine and other Celine, Merry Christmas. Finally, rather than sift through tea leaves, this brings us to our Magic 8-Ball round. Each of our guests is going to give us our predictions for next month's news.
Mr. Blobby back at number 1.
I thought you were going to say Blobby is back in number 10.
Christmas Day truce football match between anti-vaxxers and the vaccinated called off because of COVID or ongoing conspiracy. Whatever.
And his young people are going to be forced to say the word like in the correct context.
Ooh.
Government to introduce a new Office of Plausible Deniability, or OFPLAD.
And that brings us to the end of this episode. And I can reveal this month's winner is Julian Assange for sticking with the lockdown rules.
Well done, Julian.
Yes, well done, Julian. Our thoughts are with you. Good luck dodging the CIA. I'd like to... They're going to kill him. They're going to kill him. They've already said they've thought about it. It's like Paul of the Camels. You know he's going to have sex with a camel after this episode.
There's no way for me to respond to that, is there? Without incriminating myself.
Yeah,
so.
but if any lonely camels are listening right now, you can send us your contact details to paullikesitinthedunes.com.
It's all or nothing for me.
I'd like to thank our panel, Paul L.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Mrs. Wrenfoe.
Goodbye.
O'Shaughnessy.
Goodbye.
And Flash Arry.
Goodbye.
And I leave you with these headlines. Tories drop the word party from their name. Glacier to split for artistic differences. Whistleblower reveals imminent threat of train departure. I like that one. I thought that one was good. I like that one.
I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't get it.
What?
I don't understand.
Train guards blow a whistle.
Yeah. And why is that funny?
Because it's a whistleblower. Whistleblowers are in businesses. People who whistleblowers.
I know that type of whistleblower. I thought you were like literally like the guy with the whistle, the whistleblower. And I was like, yeah, they do.
Oh, man. It's going to be a long Christmas in our house, isn't it?
It's going to be long. You're editing all this anyway.
Yeah. But if it makes you guys feel better, I think there's only about 10 minutes of comedy in it. I'm going to copy and paste the laughs over from last month.
You've been listening to NewsBiscuit. NewsBiscuit is not only free for all readers, but we also accept submissions from any budding satirists, young or old. Visit newsbiscuit.com to submit headline stories and to support new writers.
NewsBiscuit. Real fake news.
As you can see, some of us made an effort with a Christmassy hat this evening because this is the Christmas podcast. Even though we're recording it quite early in December, by the time I finished editing it, it will be Christmas Day. So
I thought we were doing this in July.
Yeah, it's going to be that late. It's going to be that delayed. Yes. Paul, that glass you held up there. The last couple of days, I've discovered a big pot of pickled onions in my house. I've been working my way through it. That looks like the vinegar that's left over from my pickled onions.
It's very underrated, pickled onion juice.
Yes, yes. You are spending Christmas alone, did you say?